Greetings and welcome to another session of Veterans of the Cedar Valley. My name is Tom Hagarty. I'll be your host for this episode. In the previous episodes that we've had of the Veterans of the Cedar Valley, we've interviewed veterans from World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan. And we've also had a guest on with subject of interest to veterans of the Cedar Valley. Today I'm tickled to welcome into the studio Joy Briscoe, who is a member of the Black Hawk County Veterans Affairs Commission, and she's now the new vice chairman, and also Lieutenant Colonel Glen Keith, who is the chairman. So the boss got introduced last, and the new boss. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
And we're going to talk a little bit about your careers first, and then we'll talk some more about the Veterans Affairs Commission. Okay. And our effort in this show, last time we had a show, we had Yolanda Lovelace come with Mary Corwin, who was a brand new employee there at the Veterans Things. And our mission for this show is to help Cedar Valley veterans utilize the Veterans Affairs Commission with emphasis on Cedar Falls veterans, because Yolanda told me with the data sheets that Cedar Falls needed to, come on over and use the facilities and see what they have, and also apply for their veterans benefits. Joy, we're going to start with you, Lucky, and just tell us a little about your military career,
nice.
And then your current career, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, well, military career, I'm Air Force that we talked about earlier. And actually, I worked for the 93rd Intelligence Squadron for almost 10 years. I worked for NSA, so National Security Agency, top secret clearance and things of that nature. Now, that makes it sound way more important than what it actually was, but I definitely love my job. My role was that I was a crypto analyst and reporter. And I spoke Spanish, so that was kind of my area of expertise. So I did that for about 10 years, and then I accepted a special duty at an international schoolhouse. And I thought I always say I joined the military to see the world, and I saw Texas. That's pretty much where I was able to go. But just because of the way my career field aligned, most of my positions were actually in Texas because I was NSA, and then the second role I took as a special duty was for an International American IAFA, which is an international academy, and I was their student affairs program manager. So I did their community liaison work, I did their marketing outreach, I did the information programs management, and actually connected the community with the international schoolhouse. So.
And Glen, if I can call you Glen.
Oh, yeah.
Out of respect, I should call you Lieutenant Colonel, but since you're retired, I'm calling you Glen.
Yeah, no problem.
But Glen, tell us a little bit about your current situation, where you came from as far as being in the Army, and then what you're doing now, and then we'll go on with some more later.
Okay. Well, I am, right now, I'm the senior Army instructor for the junior ROTC program at East High School. The position is for retired military. I'm actually an employee of the Waterloo School District, and I teach leadership and civics. And I served a total of 25 years combined. I started out of high school in the Marine Corps Reserves, and then ended up doing the Army ROTC at Tennessee Tech University, and that's where I'm originally from. And got an active duty commission, and ended up serving just over 20 years active duty.
Well, you've had that Tennessee slang as a drawl.
Right.
I knew you weren't from Iowa. Joy, how many years were you in the Air Force?
Almost 16, just under 16.
And did I hear you mention that you were in Texas a lot?
I was in Texas predominantly most of my career, yes.
Well, welcome to the Air Force veterans who spent their career in Texas, because I was there too. Now, yes. When you went through your intelligence or whatever, where was that training at San Antonio?
Monterey, California.
Okay.
And then we came back to Goodfellow Air Force Base again in Texas to do the secret clearance portion of it. But the language training was actually in California. So.
Good. Both of you, though, are now, like I said, the commissioner and the vice commissioner of our Black Hawk County Veterans Affairs Commission. And Glen, how long have you been on the commission?
So it's been just over 2 years. So I'm on my 3rd year, and it's been a learning process, and I absolutely love it. When I retired from the military, I remained here in the community. I moved here in 2013, and I wanted to continue to serve the community, serve the veterans, and that's what led me to applying for the position to be on the commission.
And Joy, kind of the same question. What interested you in becoming a member of the commission?
I had encountered Glen at several things in the community, and so I met Glen and some other people, and I was interested in still being able to serve and how I could still benefit veterans. And so Glen does an excellent job, and so just seeing the work that he does with the students. I also work for Waterloo Community School District, so seeing the work he does with the students and that he was helping veterans, I said, where do I sign up? So I'm a newbie, but I'm excited.
Well, it seems like Glen became the commissioner in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
You just joined the commission, and now you're the vice commission. So you guys, we appreciate you being able to step right up and fill some big shoes from previous directors and members. Let's talk about our current director, Yolando Lovelace. He's been in the job, I think, now 2 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he's, tell us about the new facility that I picked on Yolando the last time he was here, about how you had to go like this to get back to the Veterans Affairs office. Now, tell us a little bit about the office. Is it open and all that stuff?
Well, we have an outstanding facility now. Not that we didn't have a nice facility before, but just based on some opportunities, we were able to take over some new space there in the Pinecrest building, what used to be the daycare center. And the county put a lot of money into it to rehab it, to upgrade it. And it's truly a community center. Now, and under present COVID restrictions and stuff, it's not totally open. You have to make appointments and come in. You can do walk-in appointment, or you can do walk-ins, but we eventually want to look at a time frame where we can actually have an open house and really celebrate its opening, because we really want a home where veterans can come and hang out, and where they can maybe play some pool. And I mean, a lot of times some of the best friendships, the most recovery, and just working together takes place over a social setting. And that's what we have with the new facility, and it's really exciting to see it open. And it was a brainchild of the previous director, Kevin Dill, and then with Yolando coming on board, he actually got to see it established and work with the county as far as what office is going to be what and how they're going to upgrade the facility.
And Joy, can you just go over to the Veterans facility right now, or do you have to have an appointment? What are the COVID restrictions?
Yeah, you would have to have an appointment if you went over there right now. We're open, but definitely we want to have keep the safety of veterans in mind. But Yolando, they're always, I mean, if you call over there, they're going to get you an appointment and get you in there and get you some help over there. And there's a food pantry over there. I mean, there's so many things that just since I joined the team that I didn't even know that we offer for benefits for our veterans. And so what we really want to do is make sure that all our veterans in Black Hawk County are utilizing the services that we provide.
And if I'm not mistaken, Yolando's office is right inside the front door now?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, but what can you do, or Joy, what can you tell veterans in this first half about using the facility?
You know, I think that in the past, when I moved back here in, 2012 now, I think that it was more of a kind of one of the best kept secrets that we had veteran services and that they were doing good work, but you kind of had to be connected to really kind of understand all the things that were available to you. I think under Yolando and Kevin as well, because I knew Kevin prior, I think that they are doing an excellent job about getting the services that we offer out and available, and saying that if you are a veteran, we want you to come here. This is a welcome place. It's not a secret club. It's a club. It's for all veterans. You served, so let us serve you now. And so I think that has been. I think they're being very intentional about making sure we get that message to more veterans. So.
And Glen, if a veteran's never been over to the office to apply for benefits or even to check into it. How difficult is it to sit there and discuss with Yolanda or Mary or anybody on the staff about what you're asking for? Is it like personal, top confidential, or private? What?
Well, I mean, I would tell you, my dad served 20 years in the military, and it wasn't until he passed away that we found out he was entitled to benefits. And he was exposed to Agent Orange, and my mom ended up getting some stipend from the VA. But I often think, like, if he had the opportunity, now this is in Tennessee, if he had the opportunity to go to a county office, if he knew if that existed, how much better it would have been that he could have had access to some of these benefits through the VA. So I encourage any veteran, whether it's making a phone call, looking up the Black Hawk County VA online, or looking at their Facebook page, or if you go up to the building, you can press the doorbell right now and they'll let you in and they'll set up an appointment with you. May even see you if they have availability right then. But you're gonna be greeted by fellow veterans. Yolanda has served 30 plus years in the Navy.
In the Navy.
And but these are folks who care about you, and
Yes.
you can sit in the office with them, and they're going to sit down with you and lay out what potential benefits that you may be entitled to. And they're going to assist you to help get your records if you need any records. And also, even if you may not qualify for certain benefits, if you're in need, they're going to connect you to community resources and to get you assistance. So that resource may not be coming through the VA. It may be coming through Operation Threshold. It may be coming through the Veterans Relief Fund that the local American Legion has. It may come to you through Americans for Independent Living. So they are connected to all the various resources in the county, in the community, to get veterans assistance where it need be. It could be through legal aid or through other resources.
Okay. And Joy, I know you're brand new, and I'm not going to pick on you about this, but how many members are there on the Veterans Affairs Commission?
Right now we have, I believe, 6. Is it?
5.
Five? Okay. And so they're all the positions are filled?
Yes.
Okay. And I know it's a high-paying job, right?
$25 a month, I believe. Yeah. 23 after taxes.
I didn't know that. Well, believe it or not, we've already arrived at the halfway point of our show, and we're going to take a couple time outs here and run some commercials to help pay for the bills. And we'll be right back, and we invite you to come back for the second half of the show. Welcome back to the second half of our show, Veterans of the Cedar Valley. My name is Tom Hagarty. I'll be your host. Today we've been visiting in the studio with commission members of the Black Hawk County Veterans Affairs Commission. Lieutenant Colonel Glen Keith is the commissioner of the commission, and Joy Briscoe is the vice chairman. I got that right, I hope,
Yeah.
Of the commission. And we discussed a little bit about their military careers, but we've been kind of aiming at, again, what the Veterans Affairs Commission does for veterans of the Cedar Valley. And Joy, what I want to ask you is, like, how do you encourage somebody like me who would be reluctant to go over to the Veterans Commission Affairs Office for any reason? I don't really think I have anything coming, but how do you talk somebody like that? You know, how does the staff talk somebody like that to come in?
You know, even I say you definitely just much like what Glenn said, we veterans support veterans, right? And so even just understanding if it's not necessarily that you have a current need, understanding that there is a place in the community where veterans, brothers and sisters can get together to socially meet. I mean, at our commission meetings, we take care of business as well, but afterwards we actually socialize and talk about things that are only unique to if you've served the country. And so I would encourage people that even if you don't have a need right now, you want to go over there and get connected because you want to be connected to veterans in your community. That's one of the things that attracted me to get involved. And if you're in a position even where you don't necessarily need something from the veterans right now, but maybe you want to volunteer, maybe you want to help, it is an awesome way to figure out how to give back to your fellow veterans. So
Great.
There's a bunch of different opportunities to go over there and get connected with.
Great. Glenn, tell me a little bit. I learned a valuable statement about the Veterans Affairs Office a few years ago. We were before the Blackhawk County Supervisors, and we were presenting some information to them about stats from the Veterans Affairs Office. But one thing that stuck with me was the fact that if I got benefits via the Veterans Affairs Office, it's called economic development money. Can you explain, I guess, what that would mean?
Well, when veterans apply for benefits, and whether they're getting some type of monetary benefit or they're getting some type of medical benefit, these are funds that are coming back here to the county, and it's also relieving the county of maybe other proceeds that may be coming from other means. So if I can have a veteran who's getting medical benefits through the VA, that is relieving the state and the county of Medicaid benefits. If we have rental assistance or some type of assistance helping the veteran through the VA, then that relieves the county or the community having to provide it through other means. And so those funds those dollars are being spent here in the community. Just like I have a certain level of disability as a retired military member, those are funds that I receive every month, but I'm actually spending it at the store, at the restaurant, here in my community. So and that's why it's become such a good economic driver for the community.
Good, thank you. What would be, Joy, if you were talking to a veteran who hadn't been over to the office yet, let's say a veteran from Cedar Falls,
Okay.
because we're low on veterans from Cedar Falls going over to the office. How would you just get them to come over and initially find out if they have anything coming to them as far as veterans benefits?
You know, I would say definitely it's Blackhawk County, right? We're all Blackhawk County. So I would encourage them to go over there and meet Yolando. I would encourage them just to say, hey, go meet the head of the Blackhawk County Veterans Commission because he's doing some good things. And so I think that if we can get them actually to the location, to see the location, it's a great location. You no longer have to do that maze that you kind of described before, which was it worked as a facility, but I think the environment that Kevin and Yolanda were able to provide now, it's more welcoming. I think if they go over there, they walk in the doors, I mean, you're greeted by fellow veterans. I think that you will be encouraged that you want to do something and you want to participate or you want to apply for services. It's confidential, so when you set up your appointment to talk to them about what potential services you can provide, there's not a bunch of people in there with you. It's just essentially going to be you and the caseworker talking about what you need to do. So it's between you and the caseworker. There's not a lot of people that have access to your information. So
Okay, good.
Well, and I just want to add to that too, Joy. And we've done this. Yolando and his team, Stacy, they do have a vehicle there. So if you have someone who has the inability to drive to Waterloo, they will come and do a sit down with you and work with you that way. There are people who may not have access to transportation, or particularly some of our veterans that reside in some of the retirement facilities may not have easy ability to do that. So again, that's a phone call. discussing what the issue is, and then maybe I even have to set up a time appointment where they come and visit.
Let me go back to your service in the country. Joy, you were in the Air Force. You spent time in Texas like I did.
Yes.
What was your rank when you got out of the Air Force?
E6. I thought I was going to retire, and I developed asthma and a couple other conditions, so I wasn't able to retire. But it came as a shock to me because I was prepared to be a lifer because I go Air Force, So.
You were a staff sergeant when you got
Yeah, well, tech sergeant, yes.
a Texas. Oh my goodness, you had more stripes than I did again. Okay,
Yes.
but you did spend a lot of time as a linguist
I did.
in a special language.
Yes, Spanish. I was a Spanish cryptolinguist, and I did analysis and reporting for NSA. So,
Can
absolutely.
you still speak Spanish?
I do, not as fluid as I once was, but my follow-on duty at the schoolhouse, you had to speak Spanish to work there too, because we worked with Latin American countries. So I had a significant amount of time where I had to speak and do Spanish. But now that I've been back, I don't get to speak it as much. So I've lost a little bit of.
How many different languages were spoken in your duty station?
Oh wow.
You spoke Spanish.
Yes, I think we had Persian Farsi. I think we had
Goodness.
some. There might have been some Arabic. Gosh, there. I would say at least 5. But where I went to school at, when I was in California, Monterey, there was people learning. Oh gosh, 20 plus languages. Wow. So yeah.
Wow. And Glenn, how many times were you deployed? I read in the information that you provided that you were deployed 4 times? Mm-hmm. To where?
So when I was a young lieutenant, I was stationed in Germany. So I ended up doing 2 tours in the Balkans, one in Bosnia, one in Kosovo. And that was a good learning experience, being a brand new officer. And this is right at the end of the war that took place there in Bosnia-Herzegovina and in Kosovo. And then further in my career as a more senior captain and as a young major, I did 1 year each in Afghanistan. One as a operations officer for a support battalion in southern Afghanistan, and then the second tour was I was a support operations officer, so supporting an entire brigade in northeast Afghanistan.
And then right now you're involved where?
At East High School.
Doing what?
So the junior ROTC. So my last job in the Army before I retired was the ROTC at University of Northern Iowa. And then my predecessor, Lieutenant Colonel Stevens, he was retiring from the school district. And I'd already worked with him. He's like, hey, Glenn, you should think about applying for this job. And I applied and got accepted to the position. This is my 4th year teaching at East High School, and absolutely love it. The students are incredible. And being able to teach leadership and civics to young people who can make a difference in society is really exciting.
And Joy, I'd like to ask you if you would recommend kids like students in high school, about looking into the military. Would you tell them to do that?
I would actually, and I'm the talent acquisition outreach specialist for Waterloo School. So a part of my role is helping kids understand what careers they have available. And so I highly recommend the military, definitely. And I don't always even, because it used to be when I was young, if you don't know what you're going to do and you're not ready for college, you go into the military. Well, now I think the military has so many things that they offer that it should be one of your top considerations, not necessarily, I don't know what I want to do and I'm not ready for college, but on top of possibly going to college, let me think about the military or skills and trades. So at the Career Center, we have a lot of skills and trades, but we also have people come in, much like what you did, and talk about different careers available to them. So,
well, would you invite Colonel Glen to come in and speak?
I would totally invite Colonel Glen.
I'm kidding. You were in charge of, Glen, the Panther Brigade, is that what you and I?
But Panther Battalion at UNI.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the Air Force. We didn't call it battalion.
Yeah,
but,
right.
But how long were you there?
So I was there for 4 years. It was a really neat opportunity is a position I wanted to be an ROTC instructor and to train future officers. And it's really neat because I'm still connected to several of them. You know, we exchange emails. I had someone who's he got out as a captain. Now he's doing some great things with some other organizations, and he wanted a letter of recommendation from myself. But and then I retired from that in 2017, and Lieutenant Colonel Harris took over that position, and he's moved the organization forward. They actually took over what used to be the Price Lab School gymnasium. They rehabbed that, and now that's the new ROTC building there on UNI campus.
I used to go to summer school there.
No, really.
But one of the things I want to do is I want to first, before we end the show, is to thank you both for being on the commission. It's a thankless job, I'm sure, but with Yolando and his staff over at the Veterans Affairs Commission, Yolando took over from Kevin Dill, and I think he's progressed forward and kept the office running smoothly, and his staff is well trained, and they're helping veterans. And I just want to emphasize again that if you haven't been over to the Veterans Affairs office in Waterloo, I think we have some contact information that's available on screen, and I encourage you to go over there. I mean, just think about if you have PTSD, go over there and talk to Yolando and the staff about possible benefits, you know, from that. Whether you're from World War II or Korea, go over there and check out, and also remember your family. Yes. You know, I think your family is also eligible to go over there. Right. Everything from burial expense to continuation of your VA compensation.
Correct.
And I want to thank you guys again for the effort you've put in to make the Veterans Affairs Office prosper and shine, and it's recognized around in this community. And thank you very much for being on the show, and I welcome you to come back at any time, and appreciate you being here. We've come to the end of our show, and we appreciate our guest, Glen Keith from the ROTC at East High, and Joey Briscoe from the Waterloo School Systems. Both are now on the Commission of Veterans Affairs. Thank you, and join us again for another show in the future.